Are Tony Fauci's emails a smoking gun? That's what we'll be talking about on today's video. Thousands of private emails from Fauci have been released over the last several hours, and what they're telling us is nothing short of a major bombshell. Make sure to stay to the very end of the video to find out exactly why. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you. As always, we are your daily fake news antidote. As each and every day, we provide patriotic analysis to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. Now, before we dive in here, a new invention has come onto the market that's helping to relieve pain using nanotechnology. It's called Relax the Pain, and it uses nanotechnology patches to help relieve pain anywhere in your body within seconds. You simply stick the patch on the source of the pain, and it can subside the pain or aches in under 60 seconds. It's pretty amazing stuff. And best of all, if you click on the link below today, you're going to get 33% off your order. But this is a limited time offer, so do not wait. Click on that link below right now, or go to relaxthepain.com and get 33% off your order today. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. Thousands of private emails from the U.S. infectious disease chief, Dr. Anthony Fauci, have been released to the Washington Post, BuzzFeed News, and CNN through the Freedom of Information Act. Now, the over 3,000 emails date from January to June of the year 2020, when COVID reached our shores and developed into a full-blown pandemic. The emails are, in many respects, startling. They're startling in terms of what they reveal about the radical discrepancy between what Fauci actually knew about COVID from the very beginning and what he publicly claimed he knew, which is a huge problem for Fauci, given that his public statements were largely under oath. Now, at the center of all of this, bottom line, is what did Fauci know about the lab origins theory for the virus? Now, if you want some backdrop to how the Wuhan lab theory has made a huge comeback of late, you'll definitely want to check out my video on the topic, where we take a deep dive into how the lab leak theory is now being widely championed. Okay, so that video is going to give you some backdrop and some wider context to this video. So let's start with what the emails reveal about what Fauci originally knew regarding the potential origins of the virus. On January 31st, 2020, Fauci received an email from the immunologist Christian Anderson, the director of the country's largest biomedical research facility. Here's what the email stated, quote, "The unusual features of the virus make up a really small part of the genome, less than 0.1%. So one has to look really closely at all the sequences to see that some of the features potentially look engineered." In other words, Fauci was warned by the head of the nation's largest biomedical research facility that COVID was very possibly engineered, coming from a lab rather than from a so-called wet market. Just 2 days later, on February 2nd, a fellow by the name of Sir Jeremy Farrar, who runs a global health charity in Britain, emailed Fauci a link to an article from the Zero Hedge website, which I know many of you are familiar with. And the article is entitled, "Coronavirus Contains HIV Insertions, Stoking Fears Over Artificially Created Bioweapon." Now, Fauci then forwarded that email to Dr. Francis Collins, director of the National Institutes of Health, and he asked, "Do you have a minute for a quick call?" Around the same time, Fauci sent an email to his top deputy, Hugh Auchincloss. The subject of the email, in all caps, was important. Quote, "Hugh, it is essential that we speak this AM. Keep your cell phone on. Read this paper as well as the email that I'll forward you. Know you will have tasks today that must be done." Attached to the email, then, was a document entitled Barrick, Shi et al., Nature Medicine, SARS, gain-of-function.pdf. Now, the mention of Barrick and Shi are very important here. Barrick refers to the American virologist Ralph Barrick. He collaborated with the Wuhan Institute of Virology via a woman by the name of Dr. Shi, who is well known for manipulating coronaviruses that infect bats. Dr. Auchincloss wrote back to Fauci saying, quote, "The paper you sent me says the experiments were performed before the gain-of-function pause, but have since been reviewed and approved by the U.S. National Institutes of Health. We'll try to determine if we have any distant ties to this work abroad." Now, this is important because you may recall the exchange under oath last month between Fauci and Senator Rand Paul, who's himself a doctor. Rand Paul pushed Fauci about what's called gain-of-function research, which intentionally makes a virus more deadly in order to develop vaccines that can handle possible mutations. Senator Paul pushed Fauci on what he knew about Barrick's gain-of-function research, and here's what Fauci said under oath, quote, "Dr. Barrick does not do gain-of-function research, and if it is, it's according to the guidelines and it's being conducted in North Carolina. And if you look at the grant and you look at the progress reports, it's not gain-of-function despite the fact that people tweet that out." Now, note that this appears to be a direct contradiction of Fauci's own email that states explicitly that Barrick and she were conducting gain-of-function research. To make matters even worse, as it turns out, the Wall Street Journal has reported that the National Institutes of Health, under the directorship of Fauci, actually funded the Wuhan lab's research through an organization known as the EcoHealth Alliance to the tune of $3.7 million. Now, that funding, by the way, was put to an end by President Trump. But regardless, the potential political stain of that funding on Fauci's reputation appears to have been a very real concern for the good doctor, because he seems to have done everything he could possibly do right around this time when he originally received these emails to destroy that theory that COVID originated in a lab. In fact, that Zero Hedge article, it was actually banned on social media platforms. An article that was forwarded to some of the top scientists in the nation just days earlier actually ended up getting banned by big tech oligarchs. Now, why is that? Well, it's simple. As Tucker Carlson reported last night, it's because Fauci assured the big tech monopolies that the virus could not possibly have been man-made. Now, this, of course, again, is in direct contrast to the information that Fauci had at the time, according to the emails now made public. Now, I wonder why he would make a statement like that. By April, Fauci was openly mocking any notion that the virus had originated in a lab. On April 16th, Fauci and Francis Collins corresponded about a Fox News report on what they called, quote, the increasing confidence that the virus, COVID-19, started in a Wuhan lab. Collins' email bore the subject line, "Conspiracy gains momentum." But its entire contents have been blacked out. The email has been completely redacted. I wonder why. And then just 2 days later, on April 18th, Fauci received a very interesting message that may indeed be the key to this whole thing. But first, today is it. It's the last day to register for our upcoming Patriot Entrepreneur Live event, Friday and Saturday, June 4th and 5th. It is our first ever Patriot Entrepreneur Live. It's a virtual conference, so you don't even need to leave the comfort of your own couch, and it's unlike any other event out there. If you're interested in learning how to invest in Bitcoin or in real estate or in banking freed from the Federal Reserve, or if you're just interested in learning how to break free from your woke work environment, become financially independent, gang, this conference is for you. We have some of the most amazing Patriot entrepreneurs that'll be joining us to give you the tools you need to be completely financially independent from any and all woke corporations. Now, registration is going to close in literally hours, so do not wait. This is your last chance to have some of the most exciting and successful patriots mentoring you in your financial success. So click on that link below right now, and I'll see you for a weekend that promises to be a game changer for your life like never before. All right, so on April 18th, Fauci received an email from a fellow by the name of Peter Daszak. Now, if you don't know, Peter Daszak is the president of, well, what do you know? The EcoHealth Alliance. You know, that organization that was getting millions of dollars of taxpayer funds that they were then funneling into the Wuhan lab experiments. Peter Daszak sent an email to Fauci, and you're going to be very interested in its context. This man, who back in December of 2019 admitted that he was involved in manipulating coronaviruses, thanked Fauci for standing up to Fox News and defending the natural origin theory of the virus. Quote, "I just wanted to say a personal thank you on behalf of our staff and collaborators for publicly standing up and stating that the scientific evidence supports a natural origin for COVID-19 from a bat to human spillover, not a lab release from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. From my perspective, your comments are brave, and coming from your trusted voice will help dispel the myths being spun around the virus's origins." And the next day, Fauci wrote back, "Many thanks for your kind note." Now, it's no wonder that more and more federal investigators are coming out and saying that we simply cannot trust this inner circle of scientists about what really happened regarding the Wuhan lab. There's simply too many of them that are clearly in China's pocket. And so we'll certainly be keeping our eyes on how things develop here. But there's no question, as masks are coming off across the country, we are definitely seeing a shocking unmasking happening right before our very eyes. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video. I just uploaded it on how CNN is admitting that a 2022 red wave is indeed coming, as one analyst believes that Biden is paving the way for Trump to win again. So we look at the shocking admission by a chief CNN analyst, how corroborating data suggests that the Democrats could face a total bloodbath in the midterms, and why one analyst is arguing that Biden is doing nothing less than paving the way for a Trump re-election in 2024. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.